Wednesday. My name is Colleen Magnus, and today you are Creating with Colleen. So I do come to you live every Wednesday on my Creating with Colleen YouTube channel, so I hope you'll join me. I know it's been a busy morning for you, been a busy morning for me, but now it's time for you to take a break and watch me create. So anyways, thank you for being here. One of the things that I can tell you, as being a demonstrator for over 22 years with Stampin' Up, I have a collection of projects, oh my goodness, stamp sets, bundles, and I typically do try to sell a lot of my retired merchandise, but it's just, I like to call myself a collector, but I wonder sometimes if I'm a borderline hoarder. I don't know, but at least if you're going to hoard something, craft stuff is the best thing to hoard. Can I get an amen? So anyways, one of the things I'm trying to do is sort through all my I call them creations, but you know what? They're just my treasures. And the things that I have are just tons of projects, tons of cards, so many things. And we're going to take a blast from the past on this card that we're making today. So many wonderful projects we've made through the years that maybe you haven't seen them or maybe you have forgotten them. And today we're going to make a TP card that I have to warn you is addicting. You'll be making them, it uses so little product, and you will be making them all the time. The other thing I'm doing is going through my cards. I have so many cards, so I'm going to get better at sending cards, gifting cards. I know so many organizations that will take cards. So if you have a plethora, I love that word, plethora of cards in your arsenal of crafts, be sure to pass them on because they're going to bless a lot more people leaving your stamp room than they are staying there. That's me talking to myself. So anyways, let's go ahead. We're going to get started, and I'll see who is here. Let me boot up my video here, and I can't wait to show you this card. It really is fun. So hold on while I turn you around. And then, of course, they always change everything. Let me see if that's the new turn you around. Yep, sure is. It's like I don't even try to figure all the technology out from Facebook and YouTube and everything anymore because they change it so much. The buttons are somewhere else, or, you know, you just got to roll with the punches here. So let me see if I'm on my screen and if I'm straight. Who is here today? Hey, Diane. Yes, it is beautiful and sunny in Chesapeake. I see a walk in my very near future. I love going for walks. Wendy, Indiana, 55. Joanna's here. She's in Western New York, sunny. Good, I'm so glad it's sunny with everybody. Hey, Kathy, glad you could join me. Michelle, so glad that you are here. Renee, she's been stamping the air and have a lot of stuff I've purchased. Yes, Renee, I am blessed to have you on my team, and I can second that. But isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? I love our products. So Deborah's here, Steph is here. Oh my goodness, thank you all for coming. Deborah, Melinda, all over the place. West Virginia, Minnesota. Steph, good to see you, my dear. I'm glad you're here with me. You too, Gwen and Linda. All of you, welcome. Thank you so much for being in the stamp room with me. I love company and I love creating with people. So going through that closet, I found this project here. And I choose to call it a TP card because it looks like a little engine TP that you would have, but you could probably call it a triangle card. And believe it or not, you can mail this. So this is my go-to. This is what I copied from. And to mail it, you would just fold it flat and it's going to fit in an envelope. This is the same size as a card would be. You're just missing a little bit down here. So here we go. And then when you put it together, it goes like that and it sits up. And that's it. Easy and fun. Oh, thank you, Michelle. She said it's fun to be a part of my team. Actually, we created this as a team last night. The third Tuesday of every month, I do a Zoom event. I give my team the measurements of what to cut. And then we all get together on Zoom. We can socialize. Doesn't matter where you are in the United States, you're a part of it. And then we create our cards. So once they make theirs, they get a door prize ticket for being on the Zoom, whether they create or not. But then as they post their beautiful creations on our Facebook page, they get another door prize ticket. And then we have door prizes at the meeting. But I just want you all to know, everyone who's on here, Gwen, Steph, Michelle, if I've missed anybody, forgive me, but all of you, Renee, you are a blessing to be in my Stampin' family. And don't forget, in case I forget to tell you, Sale-A-Bration does have a special that ends on February 29th for the starter kit to become a part of my family. So somebody remind me of that. It's so important. So let's create first though. The paper that I'm using today, you can earn free through Sale-A-Bration. So that is, again, going to end February 29th. Time is running out. A little over a week left to take advantage of all these wonderful products. And so many of these products coordinated with the products in our mini catalog. So for example, on page 64, this is called Stippled Roses, and it is absolutely beautiful. That distinctive stamping, you know, my favorite. And with the stippling here, with these stippled roses, you get the dies and you have the stamp set, and you save 10% when you purchase it as a bundle. So you can get all that for $54. Now during Sale-A-Bration, for every $50 you spend, you get a free item. So guess what? That's how you would earn this softly stippled designer series paper on page 8. And again, they coordinate so well. They had at least 6, if not 8, items in this book coordinate with the mini catalog. And you can see the catalogs, if you don't currently have them in your hands, you can see them on my blog at creatingwithcolleen.com. So let me show you that beautiful paper really quick. And here you go. Stippled, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Calypso coral, pebbled path, beautiful colors in here. And all the take on those roses. Now I did not buy the bundle. I have, you know, so many bundles, so little time. But I can create with what I have in my stamp room to go along with this paper. I recommend getting both, but if not, use what you have. So often in the early years, you know, I wanted it exactly like everybody else made, but feel free to get out of your box a little bit. And again, use what you have. So there we go. So that is our designer paper. Now I'm going to do it in a different color, but this is one that I did with the stippled designer series paper that you can earn free. And then the stamp sets that I used with it, see, it stands up. You can never see it. You only see the top when it stands up like that. But it's so stinking cute. And then on the inside, okay, you might be asking yourself, well, hey, where do I put a sentiment? Where do I sign this? So what you do, and I'm going to show you all this, when you open it, that's where you could put your sentiment on the inside, because you have to tell them who it's from. Some people, if they're not an avid stamper, you might want to put a little note in here telling them how to put it together, but it's really that easy. So the stamp sets that I'm using, I'm going to use So Sincere. Now this one, I don't believe it's in our annual catalog. I think it was a carryover, but the number is 162283, and it has some beautiful sayings, and of course I love the script that it is in. The other one that I'm going to use is a bundle, but I'm just going to use these little flowers to put on the inside, and this is called Dainty Delight. So beautiful line art. You can color these with blends and markers, and in this video I am going to go through and tell you the difference between blends and markers, because sometimes there's confusion on that. So I'm going to highlight the benefits of both. So hopefully you'll be a little bit wiser after watching this. And then that helps you decide what you will create with too. So honest to Pete, here we go, y'all. This is all you need to create this card. You need 3 squares that are 4 by 4. So 4 inch by 4 inch. 2 need to be the same, and 1 needs to be a coordinating color. Take that from your designer series paper. And then you're going to take a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 of your designer paper. So this is a softly stippled in a different color, because you want to see it different. At least I do. And then also the basic white for your inside. That alone is going to make this fun TP card. So what you will do, and my team did this with me last night, and they did a fantastic job. You're going to take your cutting board and get that cutter out of the way. You only want the scoring tool. So for your 3 pieces of cardstock, lay them in here, get your points within that track, and then give each one a really good score. So you're just scoring these squares diagonally. So there's one. Let me get my other one. 2. And then 3. Okay. Kathy, you're an old-time stamper like I am. Not an old lady, just an old-time stamper. We are vintage. Let me know if you've seen this one before. We kind of go back and forth. Kathy's become a dear friend who watches me up in New Hampshire. And it's just fun to have her here. She has even showed me a couple things that I have totally forgotten about that are so much fun. So I did want to point out, though, if you're trying to open your paper cutter from here, kind of think, oh yeah, that's where I would. It's hard because there is a little magnet up here. And that's to keep this shut so that it's not flapping all over the place when you carry it around. So when you open this, there's like a little finger groove here. Flip this open, because in this way, it's much easier than trying to pull it in the middle, but it's stuck here. Good tip. Okay, oh, last but not least, go ahead and cut your designer series paper. You're not going to score it. You're going to actually cut it diagonally. Like so. And then keep your pieces. Now to put this together, basically you're going to want your first go ahead and score them all. So fold that, give a nice score to each one. All right. So you're going to want your darkest square in the middle, but you want it as a diagonal. You want this score line to be from top to bottom. Then you're going to take one of your lighter pieces, and you want your score line to be from the top right to the bottom left, because this is going to go right on top of there, and you're going to glue it right next to that score line. So the way I kind of figure out where to put my glue is I just kind of hold it on here. I put my finger here because I don't want it down here. Kind of put my finger there, and then I will just put some of that glue in there. And I try to get it close to that score line. So I have that. Then I will take this, and again, I put it at the top, down at the bottom here. I give it just a second, and I do like to make sure that everything bends nice, because you might be like right on top of that score line. And I also always keep, when I'm working with liquid glue, just a damp paper towel. You don't want it wet, but if it's damp, if you get any that does come out, it's not going to moisten your paper so much that it ruins it, but it's going to pick that liquid glue up so that you don't have that shiny glue there. So here we have, so Kathy has seen it. Very, very good. Then what I was telling them last night is you turn it this way and you can glue this one here, and you can, but this morning I really found it was just as easy to flip it over and to glue this one here, because when you put it all together, that's what's going to make that T-piece. So you're kind of doing the same thing, but you just flipped it over. Y'all who did it last night, let me know if you found this a little bit easier. Kind of like just repeating it just on the other side. Put your finger there. Come in here with your liquid glue. And then I will put this in like so. Again, just take my little paper towel that is damp. Make sure it all wants to fold nicely. And then I'll put this on. I think that to me was just a little bit easier. So this is what you have on the front. And it's going to go together like so. I like the darker on the front. So now I can take my designer series paper. And let me see. I can put it that way. I like to hold each one. It's really probably better if you don't have a paper that is directional, but it's not so much that it makes it goes sideways. So here, I'm going to put this on here. And that paper towel is good too, in case you get it on your mat. So I'll put it in here. And then I can just lay this right on top. And again, my liquid glue I like the best because I can move it around for just that little bit of a second to get all of my edges nice and even. So Michelle said when she made it with me last night, she flipped it over since she thought that was what I would do. Yes, I found it easier than trying to put it. It's like your mind only had to think one way. So when you have this, to close it, that's going to go in the back like that. And you have to make a little slit. So to me, the easiest way to make the slit was to take a pencil and just kind of put here's my triangle, put a mark here and like a little mark here. And then I took an X-Acto knife. You could probably open a pair of paper snips if you're careful and do that. But then I just took an X-Acto knife and just cut from one little pencil mark to the other. I can now erase those. And just push that open. And then when I slide this in, that comes around and goes straight in like that. And that, my friends, is the beginning of your TP card. It is really that easy. But again, I have to tell you, they're addicting. You're going to have them all over the place. I have a couple more started that I might share at the end. But now let's go ahead and we're going to decorate this. And then we're also going to decorate the inside. So as I said, I didn't have the Stippled Rose stamp set. If I did, I probably would have just stamped it and then colored it. But in the designer series paper, you actually have a set of the roses here, which is really nice. And of course, with these, you know, you can actually color them any way that you want to. So I'm just going to take one of these. I think they're all quite the same. Let me see. And I'll just cut it out. Go around. You could choose any one you want. And then I am going to color it with my blends. Now, since the blends will bleed through, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper from my printer. And you would definitely want to do that. The markers do not bleed through. I'm going to color the inside with the marker, and I'll be able to show you the difference. And we'll go over, again, all the different differences between the markers and the blends. So I'm going to start with my pool party. I'm going to come in here with the light. I'm going to do, I guess, the blue. I like actually using the broad end when I'm coloring my flowers. You just have to go light. The tips are, they're not indestructible. So you have to go very light when you're coloring. But I have a light hand anyways, and I highly recommend anything you do in stamping, have a light hand. Whether you're inking your, stamp in your ink pad, oh my goodness, please have a light hand for that. If not, you could have a hot mess, ink everywhere. In the old days, we had a cloth pad. Well, nowadays it's more of a foam pad, and it works much better with the photopolymer stamps. And I actually like it. I think they stay juicier, but it's not one that you want to really push into. So I have those. Then I can come in with my dark pool party and just add, especially with it being stippled, I think the biggest goal you want is just to have some light and dark, so it's not just so flat. And that's the beauty of a blend, is that you have the lights and the darks that you can shade and color with. And normally I would actually come in here and try to blend some of that in, but I think it looks pretty doggone good because I wanted to have it a little bit darker. Alrighty. Here we go. So for my leaves, was torn on the leaves what color I wanted to do it. I wanted it to go a little bit softer and lighter. So I am actually using the Light and Darks Soft Seafoam. So color these in really quick. Who likes our Stampin' Blends out there? You know, we have so many ways to color. We have the watercolor pencils, which is what I first learned to color with. Loved them. We have the Stampin' Right markers. We have the blending pens, the blends. We have those little blender pens, which are clear glycerin, which are great to use with the pencils or just to pick up ink in general. So here I'll come in a little darker. I think I need a little bit more of a green. Thought I had my old olive ones. Here we go. Down at the other end of the table. I'm going to bring in a little bit more of a dark. Which ones are these? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. This has a little bit more of a yellow in the old olive, but it does blend nicely with all the others. So I have my flowers. And then I'm just going to give a real quick cut. You'll know our paper snips are the best. And I kind of roll the paper when I'm cutting. Hope I'm in the screen. It's easier to pull it closer to you. And I like to leave a little bit of a white edge when I'm doing this. But you can see I'm not micromanaging it. And now I love to, like, for our designer papers, I love to get in front of the TV and cut it out because I can listen to the TV, but I'm being constructive. I'm doing something, and I do find it relaxing. Believe it or not, y'all, this is what we did before we had all of our wonderful dies. And I'll check my comments in a minute. Let me see. So here we go. There. So I have my flowers. Let's see. Everybody's liking the bends. Cindy, it is a neat fold, Cindy. And the colors, you're right. They are great colors. And let me tell you, the colors I pull from the designer papers because I am color challenged. And I don't have to figure it all out when Stampin' Up! Does it for me. So here I'm going to put some of my Wink of Stella so that my flowers will glisten off the page. There, very pretty. And I'm going to, I find it's easier on something like this to go ahead and have it closed. So you see how the front is. I'm going to put my flowers, which way do I want to put them? I'll go this way. I'm going to put my flowers on here, but I'm going to put my dimensionals on here because sometimes when you have something that hangs off like this, you know, you can have your dimensional hanging off on the side. You don't want that. So let me get my dimensionals. Thought I had my minis here, but that's okay. I'll put this on here, like such. And then for my saying, I think I'm going to come in with, you know, Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock are so pretty together. So I think I will, see, this is where my dilemma comes in, and then I think. Let me try Stampin' with the Lost Lagoon. So I'm using the So Thankful. Again, that's from the So Sincere stamp set. So I'll put that in there. And then my go-to punch, which I always love, is the double oval punch. Because I can slide my words in here. And then on the other end here, I can just slide this in here. And then I have the backing. So instant gratification. So here I could put, let's see what we like. Y'all can let me know. Oh, I think I like that. So this makes my saying stand out. The other thing I could have done is put it on, I punched this earlier, put it on a piece of the Lost Lagoon like that, but I think it makes it too subtle. I want something to pop just a little bit more. So I will take my oval, put it in here, and then I can put my dimensionals. I would have done little ones on this, but it's still good. And this I could put it on here because it does go across the whole piece. So when I have this here, I could put So Thankful for You. And then I'm going to tell you when we start talking about the blends. I wish I had the Pretty Peacock blend. I don't, but I would have colored these to match because a blend actually can dry on non-porous surfaces. But I think just the simplicity of the pearl, I think that would be pretty too. So I can put one there. I love a small, a medium, and a large. And then maybe I'll just put this on the flower. So there's the outside, easy peasy. Now for the inside, because again, you want to have a place that you can write something. So what I did is I just took a 3 3/4 inch piece of the basic white, and I am going to take Your Kindness is So Appreciated. Again, this is in the exact same stamp set. Let me do that. No, I want to do it in the darker. Let's carry the peacock in because these 3 colors go great together, which is Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, and Lost Lagoon. I'll just stamp this in the middle. Your kindness is so appreciated. And then I'm going to take the memento, and this is the flower from the Dainty Delight. I love that little guy. So I'm just going to stamp these right on there, and then I'm going to color them. Now this is very minimal coloring. So there's no way, I mean, I could blend, but you're not going to see it because it's so small. So one of the things that I wanted to show you are our markers. Oh, I opened the bottom. So these are the Subtles collections of our Stampin' Write markers, and I'll compare to them to the blends shortly, but they have revamped them. I'm going to take my Lost Lagoon for the leaves, and we'll try Pool Party. If not, I might do the Calypso Coral. Let's do Calypso Coral because that's just as pretty. So these are the new markers. This is the older marker. They just revamped them this past year. And what you're going to notice the difference is the thin tip. The broad tip is still the same. Great for coloring. Great for marking up your stamp. But the thin point is what's different. So these are the old pens. It was like they called it a fine tip that you could write with. And that was really kind of cool. But I found sometimes they would dry out. And I'm not talking immediately, y'all. I bought my first set of markers when I was 40, excuse me. That was like 20 years ago. And a lot of them would still work, but some of these points would not. But this gives a really fine line that you would have for writing. And what they did now, which I think is kind of good, is on the fine tip, it's a little bit different. It's not as thick as a blend, but it lends itself more for coloring fine areas. It's more of a felt tip. So for this, I can just pull my color in. But that's the major difference. So I went ahead and bought myself a new set. And here, I'm just going to take this right here. And again, I'm not trying to fill these in. I can. But sometimes I just think when you have that little bit of white, it just makes it look more natural. Here. But still a great tip that I can now color with and not necessarily have to write with. The other thing is, one of the things that you could do with a marker is you can color your stamp. Let me see. Let me see if I got a, I'll put my tools up here. Got my glue hanging out. If I was to, oh, I got a cleaner right here. Let me show you a little trick. And you can do this with the markers. You cannot do it with the blends. And if y'all don't know what this is, it looks horrible. It's really great. I've just never needed to replace it. This is our Simply Chamois that I keep in just a stamp case. You can buy the cases individually. And I just keep it wet and it cleans your stamps fantastic. The old cleaner was more of a felt, like a velvet, and the ink would get in there and it could actually, you know, sometimes my stamps were dirtier after I cleaned them than before. And then you could just wash that in the sink. It wasn't a problem. But with this, I rinse it with water. It stays wet. It doesn't mold. And it is great for cleaning your stamps. So on here, say for example, and I'll try to see my eyes here. If I just wanted the word kindness, see, I just wanted kindness. I could take the broad end of the marker and I can just on the side, because you don't want to ruin your tips, I can just color this. And the reason this is working is because this is a water-based marker where the blends are alcohol-based. The alcohol would dry too quickly. So I can just huff it. You don't want to blow on it. You want to moisten it with your breath. And then when I stamp it, I only have the word kindness. So you can omit parts of your stamp, only use certain words. You can color your stamp ahead of time in all different colors, huff it, and then push it down. So the blends and the markers have different qualities. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go ahead and put this in here, and then I'll tell you more about that. So I'm going to put this in the center. So my card goes this way. This goes into center as such, so you have a place to sign and write. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, but it doesn't bend. What am I going to do? Bend it. At that point, just go ahead and get this crease again. Let me go this way. And it's not going to hurt your inside. You still have the inside to write with. And then when you put this together, slide your little piece right there. And you have your TP card. So do you think it's a TP card or do you think it's a triangle card? I do want to, you know what, let's embellish the inside real quick. These butterflies, brushed butterflies, are fantastic for the inside. They're very light, very, very thin. So I'm just going to take one, put it here. I love them. In fact, I need to stock up a little more. So that's your inside now. And when I close it, there it is in the Lost Lagoon and the pool party. And this one here, Pebbled Path and Calypso Coral. So those are your two cards made with the Softly Stippled Designer Series paper that you can get free only during Sale-A-Bration and only till the 29th of this month. So let me check my comments real quick, and then we're going to talk about the blends and the markers. Let me see. Hey, Evelyn, glad you could jump on. Let me see. Just a hello from Germany. I love that you're in Germany. You can watch. Oh, okay. So she will go back and watch it. Love the chamois. I do too, Steph. Have I ever had to replace the purple chamois? I have not yet, Terry. To be honest, I mean, I could. They're under $10. They're very cheap. But I really haven't had to replace it. I guess I would only do it if I got tired of looking at it being ugly, but it works, so I just keep using it. Yeah, same here. I've had it forever. Oh, Renee says it reminds her of the Star Trek symbol that is on the uniforms. That's funny. Well, there you go, Renee. If you need a Star Trek card, you've got it. I'm glad you like both the cards. Let me see. No, Stephanie said she's tried sending instructions with her cards, but she sent to a lot of older people and they just can't figure it out. So totally get it. Totally get it, Steph. And that's why you make them a standard folded card and they will love it. So yeah, I guess that's Star Wars. Here's the bad part. I don't think I've ever watched Star Wars. So that's why that didn't click with me. Oh well. Anyways, so one of the things I have here is, I went ahead and made this as a document just to show you really quickly how the Stampin' blends versus the markers. So basically, you want to store both your blends and your markers horizontally. They have ink on each side. So you don't want it all to run to one end. So try to store them horizontally. They both dry very quickly, and they both have the dual tips. So with the dual tips on the blends, you have a thin line and a fat line. That's your fine tip and your fat tip. Same with your markers. Years ago, I used to have to pull each cap off to figure it out, and you never got the right one the first time, till I had that aha moment, and I realized the lines. So you just pull it off. These are water-based. So with a water-based marker, you can color your stamp like I showed you. You can moisten it with your breath. And, you know, they're great for different techniques. The blends are great for coloring. They are an alcohol-based marker, so you do not want to leave these open. That's why the caps are so tight. Again, you have your fine tip and your other tip, but do keep these closed. Great for coloring, great for shading. Cannot use them on the stamps that I showed you because they do dry quite instantly. The let me see. This has light and dark shades. This is a single shade. So again, these are better for coloring. You can color these, especially smaller parts, but you're not going to get that variation of color. With the blends, you purchase them in a combo pack. So you get two together, and you get a light and a dark. With the markers here, you actually purchase them in color groups. So you have the Regals, the Subtles, the Bolds, and the Neutrals collection. So where you can find those, it's on page 125 of the catalog. And if you're interested in the markers, now is a great time to get them, because during Sale-A-Bration, you're going to earn the free product, especially if you get all four together. So if you're looking to buy the Brights, Neutrals, Regals, or Subtles, go all the way down, and these are the item numbers you would use, and you get 10 markers for $35 each. If you buy it as a combo pack with those four color groups, Brights, Neutrals, Regals, and Subtles, you are going to save, because they consider that a bundle. So to buy them individually, all four packs would cost you $140, but to buy them together and have all of the markers, all 40 markers that match our cardstock and our inks, it's $126. And you would earn Sale-A-Bration rewards. So you could get 2 Sale-A-Bration level 1 items or 1 level 2 item by buying it as a group. And y'all keep in mind, when you want to make a purchase, you can go to creatingwithcolleen.com and just select Shop Now. And it'll take you to my online store. And this is our February host code. So if your order is less than $150, please use the host code. And if not, you're going to receive 10% of free merchandise from your order that is placed. So those are the markers. The blends, as you saw, will bleed through cardstock. So when you color, you want to put something underneath it. The markers do not bleed through the cardstock. Now, the blends are not refillable. They do say that, I've never done it, but they say that you can refill one of these. And basically what they did, I'm not going to do it because they're brand new and they work great. But they said you can take this tip and you take a needle nose pliers, like my pliers. You grab the tip and you can pull that out. And then you can put a couple drops of the ink refill in there, put your tip back in. I've never tried it, so I'm not recommending it. But if you have a dry marker, what do you have to lose? Give it a try. See what happens. I think it would be pretty cool. Let me see. Again, these you cannot color on the stamps. With the right markers, you can. And what's really cool about the blends is you can color on non-porous surfaces. So what I mean by that is if you have rhinestones, if you have pearls, you can actually color on them because that's going to dry on a non-porous surface, whereas a marker will not. That has to dry in itself. So let me see. It works best with a darker color. But so here I have the old olive. Let me chase that buddy around. It didn't stick. All right. But by doing that, it's going to dry. And I now have olive pearls. So any of the blends that you have, you can color your rhinestones and your white pearls and have all 40 colors of what you want because it will dry on there. With both of those, you can use the Memento ink pad. They recommend you use the Memento ink pad with the blends because if you use another type pad, it can actually pick up, since it's alcohol, pick up the ink. It will not pick up the Memento ink. And of course, with the markers to color, I found you can use Memento also, or you could use StazOn. But just keep in mind, if an image is actually stamped with the classic ink pads, they're not permanent. They too are water-based. So as you're coloring that image, it could pull in some of the color from your stamped image. So if you're going to do that, just color lightly. Don't be rubbing all over that. And that is like a crash course on blends versus Stampin' Write markers. And so if you have any questions, by all means, let me know. And let me tell you one more time. Let me get my little catalog here because Sale-A-Bration will be over soon. Let me see. So Renee has to make one of these cards. Yes, yes. Let me see. So refilling the markers works well. She's tried it. Okay, Evelyn is our go-to source. She has refilled the markers and it works. You've heard it from the best. Thanks, Evelyn. Appreciate that. So keep in mind, Sale-A-Bration ends the 29th. If you see the products in here that you want to join Stampin' Up, become a part of my team, we are just a great community of happy stampers. And that's what we like to do, and that is what we do. You have two options during Sale-A-Bration. You can select $125 in Stampin' Up product from the mini catalog or the annual catalog. You're only going to pay $99, no shipping, which is such a deal. And you can select this glass mat studio for free. You get the glass mat, you get a silicone mat, and then a cleaning cloth. That's a $60 value that you can get for free. Or you can get $155 in free product, only pay $99, and boom, you're with Stampin' Up. There's never an obligation to buy. If you do, you're going to save 20% on everything you purchase. You would have me to show you all the ropes, and you would be active even by doing nothing through July. So if you want to give it a try, give it like a trial period, please you contact me first of all if you have any questions at all. I'd be more than happy to answer them. Or you could go to my creatingwithcolleen.com and select Join Now. But I'm here to help you in all ways. I think my most favorite part of this business is the people. And I have been blessed, and hopefully I've been a blessing to others. So if not, with every $100 order, you can get these items in the back. And then, of course, these items up here are the items you can get for a minimum $50. And there's that beautiful stippled rose. So if you don't have any other questions, I think we have completed our video. But just know I'm always here to help you. Always here to ask questions. If you would, please like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Let others know about my channel, because the more the merrier, I always say. And until next Wednesday, which thankfully we're still in February. July, good Lord. We're still in February. I don't want the days to go too quick. But I hope you enjoyed our cards today. I thought they were a lot of fun. And do something creative today. It could be in the stamp room, it could be in the kitchen, but have fun. So thank you, Kathy, and thank you everyone for being here. You know I appreciate you and I appreciate your support. Take care now and enjoy the day. Bye-bye.